This is our week 3 practice. Um, if you want to sit in Sukhasana with the legs crossed, that's how we've started our class the past couple weeks. Or feel free to sit up in Virasana, which is a kneeling posture, where you use some support under the hips. So feel free to use either a block or a little firm pillow just to place between the ankles. And that's a really great way to sit in centering as well. Virasana kneeling can often bother the knees and the ankles. So if you're in that posture and you think, I can't sit here for the next 3 to 4 minutes, then find a way that it feels comfortable in your body. So just before we come into centering, I wanted to set in a little intention for today. The practice of ahimsa or non-harming is going to be our intention for today. And in the Yoga Sutras, that directly translates to the practice of non-harming. Other people translate it as non-violence. So since today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, seems like a fitting connection, though we're always practicing ahimsa when we're on our mat. But today is just an extra reminder of this practice and how it feeds ourselves, feeds our families, and the world around us. So I have an article posted on our Facebook page titled Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a yogi. And it really ties that connection in of his, though he may have never practiced physical yoga postures, he was this character and person of yoga teachings, the way he moved in the world and the things he did. Of course, he was, stood for nonviolent social change. These are those bigger, more grand ways we can practice ahimsa. But today I want to scale back and just see if you can focus on right in your body, on your mat, what's happening. Some of the ways that we can lose the practice of ahimsa is when we fall out of balance in a pose and we start to negatively critique ourselves, or we can't do a physical posture and the mind starts to say all the things it says, or we notice our bodies in an unflattering way, or what we think is unflattering. So those are all ways we can kind of lose that. So I just want you to notice where your mind goes when those things happen today and see if you can, give yourself that gentle reminder. I'm strong. I have the ability to move. I'm grateful for that ability to be on my mat today. I can get back into a pose if I fall out of it. All those are just gentle reminders of ahimsa in ourselves, and then it kind of starts to trickle out when we practice that into the way we speak to others, the way we interact in our world, and if we need anything, we need a little ahimsa in our world. So let's go ahead and get centered. If that's something you connect with, all the stuff I just talked about, feel free to kind of use that word ahimsa, spelled Ahimsa, if you need a visual of how it's spelled to pronounce it. Or you can just say non-harming or non-violence as a little mantra. Otherwise, you'll just focus on the breath. So relax the shoulders. Take a few deep inhales and exhales to bring your full attention onto the mat, out of whatever it was doing earlier today. Notice where the breath feels a little tight or uncomfortable and see if you can just soften, creating ease around each inhale and each exhale. At the end of your next breath, we'll draw the chin all the way to the chest. Feel the shoulders pull back and down. Give the head a little shake. And then we'll invite in that gentle movement, rolling one ear towards the shoulder. Exhale all the way back to center. Over towards the other shoulder. And exhale back to center. Feel free to continue that movement side to side. Maybe around in a full circle if you're comfortable with the head going back. Last breath or two here. And then we'll come all the way back to center. Blink the eyes open and slowly lift the gaze back into the space or at the screen. Roll the shoulders back and down. And then we're going to reach the hands forward, interweave the fingers right in front of you, and then push the palms out. Good. Once you do that, we'll start to lift the hands up. So we've done this, I believe, once before. Check in and see where the hands need to be to make sure your shoulders drop away from the ears. We'll take a full breath as you lift up to create space and length, maybe a little movement side to side. And then we drop the shoulders away from the ears so you can easily move the head side to side. Good. Take another full breath and just hold in that space, noticing the sensation. Exhale, we're going to release tension by flinging the hands out and slowly float them down. Good. Take a big roll in the shoulders and we'll come into some side bends. Right hand will come down, left hand reaches all the way up, and then really push those hips over towards the left to get that stretch down through the outer hip. Rotate and look up if that feels okay for the neck. And then slowly come back up to center. Over to the other side, our left hand will come down, right hand reaches up. And then we push those hips to that outer right edge of the heel. Good. Of course, if you're in Sukhasana, you'll just do this from Sukhasana, legs crossed. Good. Nice full breath. Rotate and look up. And then we'll come back to center. Nice job. All right, roll those shoulders back and down. We'll inhale, reach the hands out in front of you once again, and interweave the fingers in the opposite direction. We'll push the palms forward, drop the shoulder blades down so you have that space already, and then slowly lift up. Nice job. Find whatever position feels right for you. Again, hands might be more on a diagonal in front of your face, or they could go up. And then check back in on the neck. So the area of the neck is one of the first places we can really focus on that non-harming. Throughout our day, we might not be focused on the position of our head. We might be letting our chin sit forward, which strains the back of the neck. So here we're really taking care, making sure no movement is too much. Doing more than necessary is also harming or can be considered an act of violence for your body. So do right at that point, that middle point. Challenging yourself, but not overdoing it. The end of the next exhale, we're going to fling those hands apart. Feel that tingle run down through the fingertips. And then roll the shoulders back and down. Nice job. All right, we'll go ahead and come into our tabletop position. So first, if you were in Virasana, I suggest just letting the legs extend back one at a time. Push through the heel, opening up the back of the knees. And then we'll set up with a blanket. If the floor is a little hard, if you want some extra cushion, go ahead and spread out that blanket at the middle of the mat. All right, so knees supported. We're in our tabletop position, and we'll start with just a few cat-cows. Go ahead and bring those in. As you come in and out of your cat-cow, notice your foundation, so how the palms are pressing into the floor and how the knees are on your blanket, top of the feet on the floor as well. And see if you can find a little bit more security or grounding into your base. So sometimes it's hard to be gentle with ourselves if we feel unstable. So here we're really going to let ourselves be supported by the floor so that we can truly find that ease and lightness in our practice. When you come back to your tabletop position, we're going to come into thread the needle next. We'll start with the right arm. So left hand centers under the nose, right hand reaches up and really get a twist. Feel the back of the shoulders lift, and then slide that right hand behind the left wrist. Good. Place the whole right arm on the floor or bring the floor to you. Place a little blanket under the outside of your arm. Good. We're going to lay the right ear down if that feels comfortable, and then walk the left fingertips forward. Good. Really creating space through the upper back. Nice big inhale. Nice long exhale allows you to extend out through the fingertips. Space through the back of the heart. One more. Slide the left hand back in front of the face. Push out. Good. Set back up to that tabletop position. Nice job. Reset. Find your base. Find that grounding action. And then right hand centers under your nose. Left hand's going to pull back and up. Good. Nice big inhale reaches you up. Exhale, slide that left hand behind the right wrist. Lay down the whole left shoulder, left ear. Walk the right fingertips forward. Good. And if coming down to the floor again isn't available or doesn't feel quite right, you will use props, blankets, pillows to bring the floor to you. Good. Take another 2 breaths. Feel that opening. Slide the right hand back in front of the face. Push into that right hand to come back out. And we're back to our tabletop position. Good, nice job. All right, roll the shoulders back and down. We're going to walk the fingertips one hand print forward, spread out, nice strong base, and tuck the toes under. We're coming up into our first downward facing dog. Lift those hips up and back. Knees are going to stay bent for that first one, and just give a little pedal in the legs. Think more about creating a line from the wrists to the shoulders, shoulders to the hips. Nice straight line. Good. Take one more full breath. And then we're going to bend the knees a little deeper. Walk the hands back towards the feet. Good. We're coming up into a forward fold with the knees bent at the back of the mat. Shake out the head and neck when you get there. Hands are just flopped towards the floor or towards your blocks. Good. Take 2 or 3 more breaths of movement, just letting go, let the weight of the head go. Nice firm feet. Make sure the feet are wide enough that you feel supported. And then we'll start to roll up the spine, nice and slow. Good. So we'll keep talking about it today, but another practice of ahimsa is not rushing yourself, which I would say is the most challenging thing for me, is to not rush something. Good. Roll those shoulders back and down and slowly lift the head. Great job. All right. We'll bring the blanket back on the mat in a moment, but for now, feel free to move it out of the way. And then we're going to open up the shoulders. So we'll start, take that right hand on the front of the left shoulder. This is going to stabilize the front of the chest. And then we're going to start to circle that arm around. Good. Start with nice slow circles just to see what the range of motion looks like. Good. Notice where you feel a little tightness, where the arm maybe doesn't want to move. Good. Try to keep your core stable, nice firm feet. We'll do one more moving back. And then we'll reverse that direction. So move back first and then kind of swim forward. Nice. So the idea is that we stabilize through our base so we're not flailing the whole body around. Good. Think about making the arm a little longer. You might hear some snap, crackle, pops in that shoulder. One more. All right, reset. We'll take that left hand to the front of the right shoulder. And we're going to start by moving back all the way as far as you can. Good. reaching back like you're trying to touch the wall or whatever might be behind you. Hopefully you have enough space that you can get that full range of motion. Good, 2 more. And then we'll switch directions. So we reach behind and then we swim that arm forward. Good, providing a little bit of resistance, like you're trying to kind of push through something, kind of swimming through water. That will help stabilize that shoulder if you have really unstable shoulders or a previous shoulder injury. We'll do one more here. Big inhale and all the way back to center. Good. Nice job. Roll those shoulders back and down. Bring the feet just slightly closer together. They don't need to touch. And then we're going to come into some side bends. So we'll start with the hands on the hips. Let's reach that left arm up. Good. Push the hips over to the right and find that nice big opening. Only adding the gaze if it's appropriate for the neck. Most of the movement, the majority of the movement is here in the outer hip up to the rib cage. Good. One more big inhale. Over to the other side. Left hand comes down, right hand reaches up, and we push. Good. So this is not to be a strain on the low back at all. If you're feeling this in your low back, try drawing in the core and pushing down into the feet a little bit more to stabilize the base, even backing out of the pose. This should feel like an opening through the side body. One more big inhale. And all the way up to center. We're going to walk the hands to the back of the hips, either palms or full fists on your low back, on the sacrum. Push the hips just slightly forward and then pull the belly in to also squeeze the hips back towards the fists. When you're ready, keep the elbows squeezing together and slowly bend the knees to fold forward. We're only coming into a flat back position. If this is where you need to be for your flat back, stay right where you are. If you're willing to go a little further, let the chest lower without rounding those shoulders. Keep the elbows squeezing in. Good. Shake out the head and neck. Take one more big breath. Push into the feet. Exhale draws you back up to center. All right. Roll those shoulders back and down as they release. This time we're going to add our arm circles with both arms. So a little bit more control. Reach the hands forward and then reach them all the way back. And again, notice if the whole torso starts to sway. You can go as slow or as quick as you'd like, but the control through the center of the body needs to be there. About 3 more. Nice job. Good. And then we'll reverse our direction. So we reach back and we swim the arms forward. Good. You might notice the arms move a little easier. 2 more here. All right. Let those arms come down. Relax the shoulders back and down. And then this time we'll take our side bends with the arms up. Interweave the fingers, extend the pointer finger and the thumb, and we're going to use this just kind of tug side to side. So we'll start side to side, root down through the feet, make sure you feel balanced and stable. And then next time we'll go over towards the right, push into the feet, feel that stretch through the outer hip. So it's not a collapse of one side just to open up the other. It's really an opening of both. Pull with the bottom hand on the top hand to create more space. Make sure there's no strain in the low back. Inhale. Push into the feet, back to center, over to the other side. Length through both sides. That bottom hand pulls on the top arm to create more length. And then slowly back to center. Release the hands out to the side. And you can find the same position that we did a moment ago with the arms bent, elbows pulling in, or you can interweave the fingers at the low back. So that looks like this. I know the lighting's not the best here. We'll come into a flat back once again. So bend the knees, press the chest forward, hands stay on the low back. And then we're going to come into a deeper fold. So for some of us, that means we're going to have to release the hands down towards the floor. Go ahead and do that whenever you need to. Otherwise, you can let the hands start to fall away from the hips as the head relaxes and you fold. Good. The shoulder blades are going to keep moving together and we let go. Good. Take about 2 or 3 more breaths. Option to straighten out the legs slightly. Deeper forward fold. Last one. Hands come to the low back first, and then we'll release them all the way down. Deep bend in the knees, and then step back into your tabletop position once again. Good. So we're going to be on the knees for the next few postures. Feel free to grab that blanket and place it back down. All right, once you do that, we're in our tabletop position. Find stable base. Take a breath here. You can take a cat-cow or a little wiggle of the hips, and then we'll draw the knees to touch. Good. When you're ready, we'll extend the left leg back, toe on the floor. Nice strong spine, so the core is pulling in and the tailbone is lengthening towards the heels. From here, push into the hands and lift the toe off the floor. We're going to start to open and close the hips to work that left leg. So we inhale, open up, turn the toes to point towards the side of the room, and then exhale, we turn the toes to point towards the floor. Continue to find that movement. Inhale to open, exhale to close. Notice if your whole body swings when you open up the hip. We don't want to look towards the foot and crunch the side of the body. That's not what we want. We want to stabilize the shoulders, stabilize the head, so we can let that movement happen in the hips without sacrificing our length and posture. A few more times. Inhale to open, exhale to close. Inhale, exhale. Last one. Inhale, open. Exhale, close, and then swing that leg out to the side. Good. I'll turn to face you just so you can see that leg is going out, toes point straight forward, and then walk the fingertips back as you rise up. Good. So one knee is bent, it's down on the blanket, the other leg is extended out to the side, and we're in our gate pose. Think of like a garden gate. Good. All right, hands on the hips, and we'll start to come into a little side bend for this outer hip here. Slide that hand down, your left hand down, and your right arm is going to reach up. Good, nice job. Push the hips to the right to feel that opening through the side body. Good. To get a little bit more space through the side body, the hand can go to the back of the head, and that helps open up the elbow. See what that feels like. Good. We're going to continue to deepen by taking the left hand, the one down on the leg, and bring it to the back of the left hip. Push the hips forward so we get a little bit of a back bend and a side bend at the same time. Good. Feel free to continue here, or you can take the hand to the back heel. That looks like this. The back toe is tucked under. Our hand is on the hip, and we start to reach it down to the heel. We pull the heart up, and we can look up if that feels okay. Nice big breath. So this is a big pose. Decide if you're truly practicing ahimsa, is this the right pose for you? Gather back in, hand to the hip, hand to the leg, and then right hand all the way down. Great job. Stay where you are. We're going to lift up, and then we're going to take it over towards the right. So we'll reach the right hand out, get it way out, slightly in front of the shoulder, so that when you lift the left foot, you kind of find that lift. And then the left hand lifts up. This is a variation of side plank, or what we like to call half moon, a balancing posture. Notice what happens in that lifted leg. Are you closing off the front of the hip? Is the leg kind of hanging towards the floor? Or can you open up the front of the hip like we did in the beginning of this little set? Flex the foot like you're pushing against something and allow the shoulders to open too. You might look up towards the top hand. Take one more full breath. Here's the fun part. We're going to bring the foot down and then strength through the center of the body to lift back up. Good. Little rest pose here brings the hands forward, hip stretch back and open up that inner left groin. Good. Leg stays extended, kind of a half child's pose, half groin stretch. Nice big inhale and full and complete exhale. Good. We'll walk back up and reset in tabletop position. Nice. All right, so we're starting with the right leg this time to take that little series through the other side. Draw the knees to touch and extend that right leg back. Toe on the floor to start. Nice strong core. Lift it up and notice. And then we inhale to open. We exhale to close it off. See if you can let that movement happen from the belly button down. Good. Can the hands stay steady? Can the shoulders stay steady as you open and close? And these questions are just a way of observing the body, bringing our full awareness into the moment. They're not a judgment. When you close it back off, take a breath here, and then bring the toe down and swing it out to the side. Good. So we're going to the other direction. Your right toes will be facing towards the camera or towards the front, whatever you consider the front. And then we're going to walk the hands to the hips and slowly come up. Good. As you come into your gate pose, see if you can line up your arch with that knee that's bent. We'll start with the right hand down and the left hand's going to reach up. This may be where you need to stay for the whole pose. That's perfectly fine. This is a great opening for the side body. Only deepening if the body feels open to it, if this side feels open to it. Okay. We'll take the hand behind the head first. This is our first measure of if we want to create a little bit more space. Supporting the low back, we'll take the right hand to the back of the hip, back of the right hip to create that opening. Good. And then you can continue to move back by tucking the back toes under, reaching towards the back heel, and lifting up. We're going to breathe for 3, 2, and 1. Draws you back up, hand on the hip, and then to the leg, and then release that left arm. Stay where you are. Good. And then we'll start to bring the left hand out to the side. Good. Either whole palm or fingertips. Make sure you're never pressing into the knuckles and lift the right foot off the floor. If you feel unstable here, make sure your left shin is pointing back and that your left hand is out under the shoulder. So if it's way back here, it's going to be really hard to balance. You want it to step way out. Good. Breathing here, flex the foot. Imagine if you're trying to push the bottom of your foot into something. And we're going to take 2 more inhales and exhales. Bring the outer edge of the foot down, core engaged as you lift up. And then walk the fingertips forward as we push the hips back. Good. All opening poses, tying into what we're going to do next. Check in. Maybe take a moment to evaluate that self-talk today. Give yourself a little affirmation. Find one positive thing from your day that you want to remind yourself of. Walk the hands back and back to your tabletop position. Good. All right. We can take our blanket out of the way, just so we don't get tripped up on it with our next posture. All right, we're going to come into downward facing dog when you're ready. So walk those handprints forward. Roll the shoulders back and down, tuck the toes under and lift up. Nice. All right, find whatever opening you need. So you might stay here with the knees bent and really just focus on those shoulders. If you're feeling pretty open in the upper body, Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Make sure you have space for the neck. And then focus on pushing the heels towards the floor. They don't need to touch, just in that direction. Take about 3 more breaths. If you need to rest, just come down to the knees. We're always using downward dog to build stability and strength. Doesn't mean we're going to hold for 5 breaths right off the bat. One more breath. When you're ready, toes to touch, we're going to take the right foot and step it as close to the thumbs as possible. If you need a little encouragement, grab that calf and wiggle it the rest of the way there. Push the left heel down. Good. Check in on your alignment, right heel to left arch. And then right hand is going to come to the shin. Left hand's going to pull back like a bow and arrow. Good. Your right knee is going to be bent for just a moment. And then once you get up, make sure you feel balanced. Then you can straighten out your right leg into triangle pose. It's going to feel a little different coming into triangle from the floor, but just builds new awareness. Look down, look up, find the gaze that suits you for this moment. Take a big inhale, and then use that top arm strength through the left side to pull up. Nice job. And then we'll bend the right knee and come into our warrior two. Reach out through the fingertips. Take a full breath. And then we'll reach it back, reverse warrior. Good. Hand comes to the back thigh. Fingertips reach up. Good. We'll take one more breath. And from here, we're coming into star position where we reach our hands out and then we turn and pivot our feet to point towards the side of the mat. We're going to use this to step into tree, okay? And stepping into tree is the true explanation because it's not going to be it might require a few steps to get there. From here, make sure the left toes are facing straight forward so that the pinky edge of the foot is in line with the pinky edge of the mat. We're going to bend both knees and we're going to slowly start to tap this right foot in. When you feel like you can balance, you get a little bit more hang time, that's when you'll bring the foot into tree, okay? And it might be when the foot's right here and you just keep tapping down and up, or you might take a big step from here and bring it all the way up. Good. Very different way to get into tree. It can often cause some instability, so be gentle with yourself. If you need a little bit more support, toe can come down to the floor. Any variation of tree that suits you. Hands can come to heart center. Soften the shoulders, pull the head back, relax the neck, and smile. Give yourself a little extra encouragement. One more full breath. Standing knee bends first, and we try to step back out to that nice wide position. So see how it goes. It can be a big step or a few little ones. Good. Pivot on the feet. So this left foot stays where it is. The right toe is going to turn out and we'll deepen into our warrior two. Nice job. Reach out in all directions. Take a full breath. Exhale all the way. Reach it back, reverse warrior. Front knee is bent. We're creating space through the right side body. Inhale all the way here. Exhale, we'll straighten the right leg coming into our triangle second time around. This is a little bit more traditional way to come into it from standing. So we bring our hand down above or below the knee, and then that top arm reaches up. Good, nice job. All right, from here, locate a block if you have one, or if you have a coffee table, a chair, some type of support will be nice for this next posture. Okay, our block is going to be on the outer edge of the foot, outer ankle, and we're going to keep it in that line when we bring the block forward. So we want it to stay under our shoulder. We don't want to bring it to the inside of the foot. Try to keep it on the outside. Take one more big inhale. Notice how those shoulders are opening, and then bend the right knee. Start to walk the block about 12 inches forward. Good. If you know how to set this up, you know where we're going. We're going to tap the back foot in. Right foot stays grounded, and then we slowly lift up to our half moon pose. Notice how much space is between my right foot and the block, and give yourself that or more. You can continue to walk that block out. That's going to make your base wider and make the pose more stable. Take a few breaths here when you get there. Flex the back foot just like we did in the beginning. Roll the front of that hip open. Turn the gaze. You might turn it to the side or straight up. Good. 3, 2, 1. Tell yourself one positive thing and then step back. Hands down to the floor or blocks and step that left foot forward into your forward fold. Good. We're going to start off this forward fold with the feet nice and wide, almost to the width of the mat. You can hold on to opposite elbow or just let the hands hang and give it a nice big sway side to side, almost like you're drawing a figure 8 with the elbows or with the hands. Good. Knees can be soft or nice and straight. Just find whatever movement helps you release all of that of the work you've just done. All right, take another full breath. We'll inhale about halfway, look and lift. Exhale, fold. Reach those arms out to the side. Inhale, reach, 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 get taller and longer. And big exhale, hands come down to center. Good, we'll take it right back down just like we came up. Inhale to reach it up. And exhale, hands go down. Bend the knees, walk the feet back, and make your way into downward facing dog. Good. Those transitions are yours to choose. So you might need to come down to the knees and step back, set up for downward dog slowly. Find what is appropriate for you at this moment. Nice job. Take a big inhale. Exhale all the way. Find a little bit more space in your downward dog. That might just mean drawing the belly button in to create an opening through the low back. It might mean floating the toes, let the heels settle down a little more, opening the hamstrings. Maybe you just exhale with a sigh. Good. At the end of the next breath, we're going to take that left foot and step it as close to the thumbs as you can get it. Wiggle it the rest of the way there. Push the right heel down. Keep the left knee bent, hand on the calf as you pull the right arm back like a bow and arrow. Good. Set up those shoulders and the arms first, and then straighten out the leg. And as you straighten the leg, feel free to lift the shoulders up. The upper body may come a little higher. That's perfectly fine. We want more space to the side of the bodies, sides of the body, than collapsing everything towards the floor. Take a big inhale here. Exhale, push into the feet and draw up with the right hand into your warrior two. Bend the knee. Nice job. Take an inhale here. Exhale to deepen in any way. And then we'll reach back, reverse warrior. Right hand slides down the back leg. Left fingertips lift up. Inhale here. And exhale. We'll come all the way up. Straighten both legs and we'll come into that star position. Good. All right, so from that star, we're reaching out through the fingertips, reaching out through the feet, find space and length, and then slight bend in both knees, almost like you're gonna squat back. Get light on your left foot, and we'll slowly start to work our way into tree on the right standing leg. Good. So I flip myself around just so you might have a better visual. Make sure you're doing the opposite leg. Find kindness and ease within your mind if you are a little less stable on this side. Take 1 or 2 more breaths. Feel free to add in your focal point or even close the eyes. We'll start by reaching the hands out, bending the standing leg, and then step back out. Good, nice job. All right, from here, we'll bend that knee and work your way into warrior two. Good. If you don't land right in the perfect position, that's fine. Then you have the opportunity to make your feet wider and check in on your heel to arch alignment. Take one more full breath here as you reach out. Exhale, reverse warrior. Right hand goes down the back leg, left fingertips lift up. End of the next breath. We'll pull all the way forward. Straighten out that front leg and then start to reach into your triangle pose. So it's an equal effort to reach down as it is to reach up. That helps open up the shoulders. Good. If you have your block, you can set that up on the outer ankle. Good. If you're using the gaze, this can help bring a little awareness into our shoulders. So notice if you can bring your chin in line with the right shoulder, which extends up to the fingertips. And then look down, chin in line with the left shoulder, which comes down to the outer edge of the foot. Good. That can kind of tell us if our arm's reaching forward or kind of way back. From here, bend the left knee. Start to walk the block 12 inches in front of your pinky toe. Tap the back foot in, strong through that standing leg, but it can stay bent for the first few breaths. And then lift up. Good. Top arm can always rest on the hip. Give us awareness if we're really opening those hips. And then lift it up when you're ready. Reach out in all directions. Flex the foot. Just as the standing leg is flexed and pushing into the floor, so is the lifted leg. Gaze is focused at a non-moving point, and then you can even start to shift the gaze by looking up. Good. Take 2 more full breaths. 3, 2, 1. Step back with control. Both hands come down, and then we come into our forward fold. Nice job. If that wide stance in your forward fold felt really good, that last time we did it, feel free to bring that in. Otherwise, we'll bring the feet a little closer together this time. Little gentle movement, maybe bending and straightening the legs a few times, or a sway. Just helps us open up, find ease. And then we're going to deepen. So I'm going to give you options. You just take which one suits you. The first is to just reach the hands around the back of the knees and bring yourself a little closer. This is kind of an inward focused pose. Chin to chest, relax the back of the neck. If you want to continue, you'll take the hands and cup the calves as you pull a little closer. And then if you want to go even further, you can keep sliding the hands down to the ankles, maybe even tuck the fingertips under the heels as you bring the torso closer. Knees can be bent the entire time. And we'll take 3 more breaths. The end of your next exhale, slowly release the hands. Good. Bend the knees. Look forward. Inhale, gather in all that air. Exhale, sigh it out. Good. Reach the arms out to the side. Sweep it up. Big exhale. Let it go. And then we'll move back down towards the floor, just the same. Inhale, reach it up. And exhale, swan dive down. Good. Bend those knees, and we're going to settle back to a child's pose. If you want to have some support in your child's pose, a block under the forehead or a bolster, feel free to add that in. This idea of surrendering into child's pose, letting the heart open up towards the floor, letting go of what we no longer need can be a great practice of non-harming, non-violence. All right, from here, slowly start to walk your way up. Now we're going to come into a seated position. Good. If you have a blanket, sometimes blanket under the hips can give yourself just a little extra space and comfort in a seated posture. So feel free to add that, not required. We're going to extend the legs out. And if you choose to use a blanket, scoot forward so you make sure the sit bones right at the very top of the thighs is kind of hanging off. So you're almost tilting your hips forward slightly, and that's going to give you a lot more space in the low back. All right, we're going to start with just a seated twist as we start to wind down and bring that energy back down. We'll take the right leg and bend it. Walk the heel in as close to the hip as possible, and then give a little squeeze onto the shin as you lengthen the chest up. Good. The extended leg is flexed. Extended foot is flexed. Feel free to stay here, or if you'd like to twist, you'll take the left hand around the right knee. Right hand's going to sweep up and behind. Good. Just bring it down to the floor if you need an extension to a block. And you're just going to squeeze that right knee towards the center line of the body as you twist. Good. Breathe where you are. Get the neck long and deepen. If you're continuing to feel comfortable and you want to go just a little deeper, again, notice what you need and what your ego says you need. Take the elbow to the outside of the knee in order to deepen that twist. Okay. About 3 breaths here, wringing out the spine. And then slowly coming back to center. Keep the legs right where they are and just a little counter twist over to the left side. And then we'll come back up. Nice job. All right, switch the legs out. So right leg extends, left knee pulls in. Walk the heel as close to the hip as possible. Hold on to the shin. Inhale, reach up. Okay. Stay here, or you can take the right arm around the front of the knee, left hand sweeps behind. Good. Go as far as feels comfortable for you with the hand behind. So you might need to kind of lean back a little bit to create some space between the chest and the leg. That's fine. Or you might kind of continue to lengthen up. Either way, you just don't want to be rounded. So you can lean back, but just make sure you're not rounding. We want to get the spine long as we wring it out. Good. If you want to go a little deeper, you can take the elbow on the outside of the knee. Let the breath really move into the center of the body as we release. Last one. Coming back to center. Good. Lengthen up and then extend that leg out. Good. Wiggle out the legs a little bit. Roll the shoulders back and down. Just check in, see how you're feeling. And then we're going to bring the bottom of the feet together, starting off in a bound angle pose. So we'll start the posture with the heels more of a diamond shape, way out in front. So more of a diamond shape than squeezing the heels really close in. Good. Hands on the knees or the shins, wherever feels comfortable, and you're going to pull the heart forward, getting that little lean. Good. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Think about leading with the chin or the heart. And then you're just going to slowly walk the hands out. Find the place that feels good for you to keep the back nice and long. So again, if you're rounding, then back off. Do a little less, come up and find a flat back first. Good. All right, you can stay here. You could just rest the forearms on the knees, or you could walk the hands out in front. Good. Take one more full breath with a flat back. Lead with the heart and the chin, and then let the head go. Release into that rounding posture. Good. Perfectly fine here to use your bolster, your pillow, your rolled blanket. Just kind of place it between here and the head. Another nice one is to kind of stack a block between the feet and the head. And as always, anytime you bring a support under the forehead, you're just sending that little message to the brain that it can let go. It doesn't have to analyze every little thing, it can just be. We'll take one or two more breaths here. And when you're ready, walk up. If you have a prop, just set it off to the side. And then one more variation, we're going to slide the heels in nice and close. So slide those heels in as close as you can get them. Good. And then sit up nice and tall. So the change in the feet may affect how far forward you go. You might stay right here and just work on staying upright. Good. If you're willing to go forward, we'll pull the elbows back, lean over the legs until the point where you need to pause and just reset. You could also wrap the hands around the feet and draw yourself a little bit more forward. Good. Take one more breath. Inhale, lengthen the heart forward. And then we'll exhale and let the head drop, shoulders round. So we get that length always before rounding in. Good. Gazing inward, we're starting to take that kind of outward, big, large postures where we're reaching out in all directions and we're drawing that energy in. So we can exert that, let go of what we no longer need. And then we start to preserve and hold on to that sense of peace we've created on the mat today. Good. If you want to add in any props to support the head, we'll take about 3 to 5 more breaths here. Anything you might need. The end of the next breath, we'll move nice and slow, walking the hands back, lifting the head, supporting the legs as you gather them together. Good. Slide off your blankets if you're on one, and then gently roll onto the back. Start to settle yourself down towards the floor. You can pull the knees towards the chest. Any movement that helps you release and let go. And then set yourself up for a nice, relaxing Shavasana. If you want to cover up with a blanket, put socks on, use a little rolled blanket under your neck, an eye bag. Again, the idea is that we preserve that peace and ease we've created in our mind and body. So we can take that practice of ahimsa from our mat and out into the world. Whatever you need to do to be kind to yourself, to create ease, is welcomed here. Once you get settled, notice what it feels like to be still in the body and see if just that observation of stillness lets the breath slow down even more. Taking just another moment or two to scan down the body. Notice any area that feels like it's still holding on tension, and use a breath to let it go. Continue to stay lying down in Shavasana, and you'll know it's time to come out when you hear the bell ring. Take a nice big inhale and allow some movement to come back to the surface of the body. Bending the knees one by one and rolling onto one side, resting here for just a moment. Thanking your mind and body for the work that it's done, for its ability to move, for your mind's ability to stay focused, even if it needed reminding, and for your ability to practice ahimsa in some way today. Even if this is the first time you've ever heard the word or tried a practice of non harming, it's a start and you did wonderful. Carrying whatever you need from class today into your week, leaving behind what you don't. You come up to a seated position. You can gather hands at the heart center. We'll take one more breath together. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, let it out. The light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. Namaste.